Are you planning a trip to Nicaragua and don't know where to begin? Well, this vlog is for you.
So if you're new to our channel, we're Jay and John, bucket list travellers. We lived in Nicaragua for a year and a half and we travelled extensively through the country, so we've got a wealth of information on Nicaragua. And our friends and fellow YouTubers Choose to Explore are planning their first trip to Nicaragua, and they've got plenty of questions for us.
So in this Nicaragua travel vlog, we're going to answer all their questions and share with you what you need to know before you go to Nicaragua.
So let's give them a call.
Hi guys!
Hey!
How's it going?
Doing well, and you guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
Really good, thanks.
So are you excited for your trip to Nicaragua?
We are so excited, and we're so happy that you guys decided to get on a call with us. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we're always happy to talk about Nicaragua. But yeah, first of all, why don't you tell us a bit about yourselves? Because you're a travel YouTuber as well.
Yeah.
So we're the Choose. I'm Olivia, and this is Darren. And we're from Choose to Explore, so we're all about budget travel.
Yep, so we want to see as much of the world for as little as possible. So for us, Central America is a great place to go and to visit because we've really been working on our Spanish, and it's a really good place for us to practice and immerse ourselves into the Spanish culture and the Spanish language, as well as we want to see all of the countries in Central America. And Nicaragua is our second to last one that we'll be visiting. We also will be visiting Belize sometime, hopefully later in the year. So we appreciate you guys for reaching out to us and for giving us this opportunity.
Well, I hear you've got a lot of questions, so yeah, shall we get into it?
For
Definitely.
sure. We have been planning this trip. I believe our trip is 5 days.
5 days.
It's 5 full days. I know you guys were living in Nicaragua for a good amount of time. Unfortunately, we don't have as much time as you guys do. So we have 5 days, and we're going to try to do as much as we can in those 5 days. So to me, I think that we're kind of reaching in terms of the things that we want to do, but we want to see if really our itinerary, what we plan to do, is feasible. Do you think that it's feasible to go to Ometepe, León, Managua, and San Juan del Sur?
Oh, Granada.
Oh, Granada. Yes, sorry. So to go to Ometepe, León, Granada, and San Juan del Sur in 5 days?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely possible. It's going to be quite a
It's going to be tight.
whirlwind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon you can do it. So you're going to fly into Managua?
Yes. So we're hoping to fly into Managua, and from there we want to just decide we either want to go to León or to Granada. So it's really what it can be efficient in terms of our travel plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So León is the place that's kind of in the opposite direction to the rest of them. León's about 2.5 hours from Managua by bus, and you could probably get there a little bit quicker if you drive. With going between the places, you probably need to leave about half a day of travel if you're going by public transport.
Yeah.
If you get someone to drive you, it's going to be quicker. So we'd probably recommend that you do that in the interest of time. And also with public transport, a lot of the public transport is mainly during daylight hours. You kind of need to allow for that as well. And with the ferries between San Jorge and Ometepe Island, they only go from 7 o'clock in the morning until 5:45 at night.
Yeah. So you just got to keep all of that in mind when you're planning it all out. But I think it is certainly possible.
We don't generally recommend driving at night, especially not like if you're driving yourselves, but if you've got an experienced driver, you can probably do it. So we've done a trip before from Granada all the way up to Somoto, which is like right near the border of Honduras. And we did that back and forth in 1 day. So it's definitely possible to do big day trips. So yeah, you might need to probably, like, depending on how much time you want to spend at each place, you might want to travel at night but get a driver to do that. But you'll need to travel to Ometepe Island during the day.
Right, so it's definitely possible, but is there anything that we should really prioritize with our time?
Yeah, so I guess if you go to less places, you can spend more time in them. And I'd say that León and San Juan del Sur are the ones that are kind of the furthest away, and the more like you can get that sort of experience in other places. So San Juan del Sur, it's a nice beach town, but you know, it's a beach. Like, I guess the main attraction is the cafe culture and the Christ statue. That's quite iconic.
Yeah.
If I had to skip a place, I'd probably skip San Juan del Sur. It is very popular with tourists.
Yeah, it's probably the most popular tourist destination in Nicaragua. Because if you like beaches, you will have to go half an hour either side to get the really cool beaches.
Best beaches, yeah.
From San Juan del Sur, you have to go 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's more like a port for ferries or like sailboats and stuff like that. You can swim there, but it's not the nicest beach in the world.
Yeah, there are much better beaches half an hour either way along dirt roads. So, yeah, that makes it interesting too. You guys have been to beaches all around Central America already, so an experience of the beaches in San Juan del Sur isn't going to be too different or too unique for you. So what we do recommend is going to a beach on Ometepe Island. So that's something a bit more unique, just having a beach with the background of a volcano. So that's pretty cool. So if you're very short on time, we'd recommend doing that instead. If you're there for a day or half a day, I think you're only going to maybe go up to the statue, check out the view, have a good cafe meal somewhere, or have some ceviche or something. But then that's about it. Now with León, I guess the main attraction for León is volcano boarding, which is amazing, and you know, it's one of the most unique experiences that you'll find in the world. And
yeah, you can't do volcano boarding anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're keen on doing the adventure stuff and you do want to do that, then I guess, yeah, you need to go to León for that.
Yeah.
If you kind of take it or leave it with that experience, then
Yeah. Probably.
León would be another one to miss.
Yeah. I will say in Leon's favour as well, there's a lot of history and culture of Nicaragua in León as well. So that's another draw card if you're really into Nicaraguan history and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I really like the rooftop of the cathedral. It's, yeah, really cool and unique.
I think I did see that. It's a white cathedral domes. Yeah, it looked very pretty when I saw it on there.
Yeah.
Awesome
And the
photos.
architect was inspired by chess. So there are a lot of shapes that look like chess pieces up the top. So it's really interesting and unique. And you also get this amazing 360-degree view of all the volcanoes in the region. So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in León?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and León is so hot.
Nicaragua's hot, but Leon's even
like
hotter.
really hot.
Yeah.
Well, here we're supposed to get snow here tomorrow, so I don't think that's too bad for us.
It's a nice change. Yeah.
Yeah. Ometepe Island is beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful places in the world, so definitely don't miss that.
Yeah. It's very unique as well. So, you know, where do you get an island in the middle of a massive lake that has two volcanoes on it? It's really special.
Magical.
Yeah.
And Granada is very central and it's just really charming. And obviously we lived there for a year, so we're biased, but I'd definitely go to Granada as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm so excited just from you guys hearing this. You guys gave us confirmation and affirmation, so we appreciate that.
Cool.
So we are interested in going to San Juan del Sur and Ometepe. Would it be going out of the way, going to one or the other? Is there a certain way that we should go about going to both, or?
Yeah, so it is out of the way, but then it's not out of the way. So if you're coming from Managua or Granada, then either way, you need to travel to Rivas, which is 2.5 hours from Granada, say. Once you're in Rivas, then Ometepe is a boat ride in one direction, and then San Juan del Sur is a 45 to 1 hour bus ride in the opposite direction. If you're looking to do the trips concurrently, so it makes sense to do Ometepe, then San Juan del Sur, or San Juan del Sur, then Ometepe over different days. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got some flexibility, I'd say go to Ometepe first and then like see if you want to
Stay longer.
Because it is really beautiful. But it's probably about 2 hours extra to go, like on the ferry and then like drive or whatever to San Juan del Sur from there.
Okay.
So that's good because from Granada or from Managua, we have to stop in Rivas. And then from Rivas, we decide where we want to go. So for both of them, it's centrally in Rivas. Okay. Thank you guys, because we are really planning to spend a day in San Juan del Sur. And being that we have such limited time, maybe what we'll do is we'll circle back and see if we can go to San Juan del Sur after we go to Ometepe. But great.
Yeah, I think once you get to Ometepe Island, you're not going to want to leave. Like, we were there for almost a month, and I was so sad when we left.
Yeah.
We wish. Next question is, because we'll be moving around and it's such a short trip, do you think it's best to have a base somewhere, or should we just be ready to get on our bags and just be going one place to the next, to the next, to the next?
So I think because it is a couple of hours going in between places, it's going to be much more efficient if you just keep going from place to place. If you were going to just base yourself in one place, then Granada is great for doing day trips, because there are places like Apoyo Lagoon and Masaya and a few other places that are quite close by if you didn't want to unpack and repack all the time. Given you want to see a lot of the country and definitely Ometepe Island, then yeah, just go and stay at a place each time and move around.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do a day trip to Ometepe?
Ooh. So the first ferry's at 7 and the last ferry's at 5:45.
Yeah, in the evening.
It depends where you're going from. Like, if you're going from San Juan del Sur, you could probably do it as a day trip, but yeah, like, I was there for a month and didn't want to leave, so
Yeah.
Wouldn't do it justice.
it wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah,
And
so just in terms of the logistics, so Granada to Rivas is 2.5 hours by bus, but it's probably 2 hours by car. And then you've got an hour ferry for Ometepe. So that's 3 hours.
And then you've got to
getting
get
there.
to the ferry wharf, which is another 15 minutes drive.
Yeah. So it's like
so-
a morning to get there, and then to get back, it's like all afternoon. So yeah, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah. And I guess once you get to Ometepe Island, you're at Microbuses. There's some things to see around there, but the really pretty places are right on the other side of Ometepe Island, which is probably about an hour's drive away.
Yeah.
Even having a day there is going to be like, you can, if you rent a scooter and you just go around the island, you could do it. But it's going to be tight, I guess.
Great. Thank you guys for that, because I didn't know that it was such a big island in terms of an hour to get to the other side. Do you guys think that we should rent a scooter? Or do you think that, like, if we just go to Microbuses, is that enough, or should we?
Yeah, I definitely rent a scooter or an ATV or something to explore
get
the
around
island for yourself. Yeah, so Microbuses are like a small little town, little port town. There are a few nice eateries there, but there's not too much to do. So you want to go explore the beaches. There's some really nice bars on the other side of the island that have amazing views on little beaches. And there's also El Patal Chocolate Paradise.
Oh, it's so good.
Which is a really cool little chocolate. It's like a vegan chocolate
cafe / experience.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So we recommend doing that. And there's just so many beautiful areas just to explore and you can just do most of it by yourself.
Yeah, and Ojo de Agua. So Ojo de Agua is one of the must-see in Ometepe Island, and that's halfway, like, it's kind of in the isthmus kind of area
Right in the
in
middle.
between the two different sections of Ometepe Island. But the really pretty places are, like right at the other side from Microbuses. So yeah, you do need to get out of Microbuses, I think. So the only place really near Microbuses that I'd go and see is Punta Jesus Maria. So it's a really pretty area. It's great for sunset, and you do get the views of the two volcanoes.
Yeah. That's pretty
And
cool.
I guess the other thing is stopping on the way there. You can stop at the airport kind of landing strip and get some photos there. That's a really nice place for getting photos. But other than that, all of the nice beaches and stuff like that are on the other side of Ometepe Island.
Great.
So our next question is, should we convert the US dollar if we're bringing cash with us?
Yeah, so there are a lot of ATMs in Nicaragua, not on Ometepe Island though, but in other cities. You can get both US dollars and the Nicaraguan Cordobas out at ATMs. So if you've got a card that has low ATM fees or no ATM fees, then that's probably the best way to get money out. They do accept US dollars in a lot of places like hotels, and even some restaurants will accept US dollars as well. You won't get the best exchange rate. I don't think you need to necessarily exchange money before you get there. And there's always people around in major cities who will just exchange money for you, or you can go to a bank. Either one of those,
Yeah. So the US dollar is a recognized currency alongside the Cordoba. So there's two currencies in Nicaragua, which is pretty cool.
So I'd say, like, if you're going on a bus or if you're going to like a local street vendor, then having some of the local currency is definitely going to be handy.
Yeah.
But you can definitely get by with US dollars in most places.
Following up on that, do you think that we can get by using our credit card or debit card, or do we need cash for certain places?
You need cash. So Nicaragua is a very cash-based economy. There are places where you can use credit cards, but it's kind of a bit of a hit and miss. We wouldn't recommend just trying to rely on credit cards. Get cash out. Make sure you have at least a little bit of Cordobas on you. If you've got US dollars, you should be fine in most places.
Yeah, and when you're getting money out of the ATMs, if you don't have a bank account that waives international transactions, that sort of thing, it's around $4 to take out money. And I think from memory, the most US dollars you can take out in any one transaction is around 500 US, I think, from memory. Just bear that in mind. But that said, you probably don't need more than 500 US in spending money because it's really affordable. Yeah.
Great. Glad to hear that. We could use some Cordobas on our wall.
It's really colorful. I love the Cordobas. So it's a really colorful currency. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like plasticky. It's the polymer kind of currency, which is similar to what we have in Australia. So it's kind of familiar.
They don't break easy, which is really good.
All right. Well, can't wait to hold some. So our next question is, when we're getting around, we're going to try to use the public transportation as much as possible. Is there a way to kind of figure out a public bus schedule, or how do we go about doing that in Nicaragua?
The Nicaragua bus system or public transport system is pretty informal. So there are scheduled buses, but for some routes, but sometimes it's a bit like they'll go when they go. You've got to kind of allow a bit of extra time for that. But we did put up a post on our website, JJ Bucket List Travelers, which is a complete guide to the public transport and all transport options in Nicaragua. If you go there, it has the ferry times, it has the bus times that I was able to get, and like distances and costs and that sort of thing. So that should sort you out, hopefully.
Yeah, some bus stations will have the times up on the board, up advertised somewhere, but other stations won't. So
yeah, and in Granada there is no centralized bus station. So I've also got a Google Maps document which has the location of all of the bus places as well as like where they generally go to. In Managua there's like four different bus stations plus the microbus station, and then Granada's got probably about the same. Most cities and towns generally only have one or two. It takes a while to figure out, but yeah, like that guide should sort you out.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, and I guess another thing is just ask your hosts or your hotel accommodation what bus station and what the times are. They generally know, and that's generally how we got around as well.
Great tip.
Yeah.
And because you speak a bit of Spanish, that's definitely going to help you, because the bus drivers and the people that collect the money on the bus, they will generally only speak Spanish.
So we were watching some of you guys' videos, and we did see that it was a little difficult for you guys to get around on Sundays. Can you guys talk about, is there public transportation in Nicaragua on Sundays?
There is, however, the services are a lot more limited. So just be mindful of that. So from the main cities like Granada to Managua, you should be able to get around okay. But if you're trying to get around smaller areas, then...
Like Ometepe Island?
Yeah, Ometepe, for example, it's going to be much harder. So I think a general piece of advice would be try not to arrange big travel days on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get to Ometepe Island. There's less ferries, but there are ferries. But then getting buses around the island, there might not be.
if we are on Ometepe Island on a Sunday and we have our own ATV, we shouldn't have, or scooter, we should be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make sure you do the booking before Sunday, just in case the providers are closed.
All right. So while we're speaking on public transportation, I know on your website you guys talked about microbuses, the minibuses, the public transportation. Can you guys talk about that, as well as like the differences between the lanchas, the ferries? Because I did see on some schedules that they had them, and I don't know the differences.
The microbuses are basically just minivans, and they go probably a bit more frequently or more direct between places. They might have a different location that they depart from compared to buses, depending on the city. So like Managua, there's a dedicated microbus terminal. I personally find them a little bit less comfortable than the buses because you're really packed in, you don't have as much leg room. One place I think I was sitting on like a milk crate or something like that. They really pack them in. If there's like an aisle, you might just be sitting in the aisle. Whereas with the buses, yeah, like they'll still pack people in, people might be standing, but if you do get lucky and there's not many people in your bus, then the windows are open, it feels breezy, and yeah, I generally prefer the buses.
Yeah. I guess the only potential pros of the microbuses is that you'll get to your destination faster. It's not massively faster, but it could be on a 2-hour trip, it could be 15 minutes faster than a bus.
And and maybe it leaves at a time that's more convenient for you.
Yeah, and you might get air conditioning, which is also a pro.
Yeah.
Are there price differences between the public transportation and the microbus?
Yeah.
So the microbuses are a little bit more expensive, but not massively. So like it'll be kind of like US dollars, a $2 trip on a bus will be like $2.30 on a microbus, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's not materially different.
Yeah. And then can you guys talk about the differences going to Ometepe Island? I saw sometimes there were launches and sometimes there were boats. And can you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I think as a general rule, if you get motion sickness or seasick, don't go on a lancha because the lanchas, they're very tiny. They're
wooden boats. So I guess it's the difference. The ferry is like a big ferry and they allow vehicles on there as well, whereas the lancha...
15 people at most could fit on a lancha probably. So it's very small. And Lake Nicaragua is really...
choppy.
So it gets very windy pretty much all year round. It's very choppy. Don't imagine a nice flat lake, calm lake. It's not that at all. It looks more like an inland sea, if anything.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll be shooting for the ferries.
So next I have to ask about the local food. Is there any really great food that we should try? I'm more of a vegetarian. I'm more of a picky eater, but he's for anything.
I'm up for anything. I want the craziest foods that are local, that are traditional. I want to eat as the locals eat. So give me all of them.
Is there something for both of us?
Yeah, I think there would be something for everyone. And we found in Nicaragua that the variety of food was more than what we found in other Central American countries. Maybe it's a function of us being in the country more and experiencing more, but we really enjoyed the food. So I guess for the vegetarians out there, there is plenty of really great fresh fruit and vegetables. You get amazing tropical fruit. We love pitaya.
So
dragon
good.
fruit, so amazing.
If you're vegetarian but not vegan, then quesillos are really good. So they're like a tortilla with cheese and cream and really good.
That's delicious. You find those pretty much everywhere. They're popular in León as well as Granada. Yeah,
is that like street food or is that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
So I guess a lot of the stuff that we really got into is the Nicaraguan street food.
Yeah, basically, like if you see someone on the street selling food, just get it and eat it. It's always really good and cheap and really tasty. Enchiladas. Are enchiladas vegetarian?
So they have rice inside, but most of the time there's going to be a little bit of meat in there too. We loved enchiladas. You get them with vegetables. It's like a little coleslaw on top as well, which is really yummy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess like gallo pinto, which is like beans and rice. If you've been to Costa Rica before, then you'll be familiar with the concept. It's a little bit different in Nicaragua. That's very popular.
And platanos. So you get the green version, which are the chips, the platano chips, and then you get the maduro or the really
sweet,
ripe,
yeah. So these are
fried.
like banana kind of. Yeah. And
they're really good.
yeah.
And you get those pretty much with everything. So that's really good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely. And all the sweets are really good.
So there's cajetas, which are basically the little fudges or like little candies. You can find those pretty much everywhere, and they're typically made around festival time, but you should be able to find them all over the place. Yeah, and
and the shaved ice.
Raspados. So they're basically shaved ice, flavored shaved ice. That's really good too.
Yeah, if you go to like Central Park kind of areas in each of the cities, you'll generally find them around there.
And just coming back to some of the big or the most popular street foods, there's in Granada in particular, there's vigorón. It's yuca, then you've got chicharrón, or
Like
you've
the
got
pork
pork bits
crackling.
on top. Sorry, we're talking about the meat eaters now.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's for me.
Yeah. So for Darren, vigorons really yum and quite addictive. And then there's also nacatamal, or nacatamales. So this is a little bit more of an acquired taste. It's
in a banana leaf, is it?
Yeah.
And it's like masa, which is like the
Cornmeal.
cornmeal.
Sort of like polenta in a way.
And then you've got like meat and vegetables inside as well, and it's kind of wrapped up and then either steamed or boiled. That's really good. Like, I didn't like it at first, but then once you start having it, it's really good.
It's okay, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. It has another name in another country.
Probably tamales.
Yes, tamales. It's the banana leaf. It's it's like the cornmeal, the meat inside. Yeah. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
that's really good.
we both didn't like it to begin with. We thought, this is a bit weird, but then over time we just became addicted to it.
And then I was just
really good.
searching it out.
Yeah.
And fritangas, that's probably my favorite in Nicaragua. So it's like the grilled meat, and then you get like all the sides that we were talking about with the platanos and the cabbage salad. That's really, really good, really tasty. You'll just see people grilling it outside in the street.
Yeah, so they could be just outside where they live, but they just have this makeshift barbecue and they're just grilling all these amazing meats. It would be like $3 or $4 for this big slab of beef or chicken or pork. Oh, it's so good. So good.
You can get grilled cheese as well. Get the grilled cheese if you can. It's to die for.
Yeah. Yeah, highly recommended. And then there's also refrescos naturales. So they're the drinks.
So many different flavors.
Yeah, there are so many different flavors, different fruits, all these weird and wonderful combinations. In Granada, our favorite was grama or grama. So Grama. So look out for that. It's sort of like
It looks like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's like flat Coca-Cola, but it tastes really good. And it's actually made from grass. So it's a type of grass that gets turned into this really nice...
Like a tea or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Now, if you're after weird and wonderful food from Nicaragua, then we've tried a few. They'll be a bit harder to search out. So I don't know how easily you'll be able to come by them, but cow tongue is one, bull's testicles, sopa de mondongo, which is like a stomach and hoof soup. So there's a few out there. Very interesting cuisine in Nicaragua. And apart from all the local dishes, there are, like, especially around San Juan del Sur, there's vegan places, and Ometepe Island, there's vegan places. There's a lot of like El Salvadorian, Mexican, and, burgers. And
Pizza.
Pizzas.
There's so much pizza.
Yeah.
That's the pizza girl right here.
Yeah. So you'll find plenty of pizza places, if you need some pizza.
Yeah.
You guys got us hungry here.
I know.
I know that we kind of been talking about a lot of things that we want to do, but is there anything that you guys think that we didn't mention that would be really good and interesting to do?
I'd say if you're around Granada, there are so many cool things to do, not just in Granada, but surrounding. So one of our favorite destinations was Laguna de Apoyo. So this is a big, massive crater lake, and it's in a volcanic area, so the water is still heated. So I think it's around, I don't know, 86 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit in the water. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a really pretty area, and you've got like howler monkeys in the distance that you can hear. You can go like kayaking on the lake or swimming. There's a pontoon as well, and a few like hostels that do food and stuff there. So
yeah,
that's really nice.
Yeah, you could easily spend a day there if you had a day to spare. So yeah, that's really cool, and only maybe 15 to 20 minutes outside of Granada, so it's very close.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then Masaya Volcano is really, really cool. So you can go right up to the edge of the volcano and look right inside and see lava, and just it all bubbling. It's something else. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an easy day trip from Granada as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I love about Central America are the volcanoes, but we've never actually looked at lava. So we definitely got to add Masaya Volcano into our plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a bucket list experience, that's for sure. One place that we highly recommend, but it probably won't fit your 5-day schedule, is going to the Corn Islands or going to the Bluefields, which is on the Caribbean side of the country. So it's a completely different part of Nicaragua, completely different experience. The Corn Islands are basically beautiful, untouched Caribbean islands, and they're just wonderful. So that was our biggest regret not going, but it is a fair way from the rest of the country. So you can fly there, or you can take a 8-hour bus trip to Bluefields and then quite an arduous boat ride onto the islands. If you have more time, then that would be perfect. That's what the number one thing we need to do when we go back to Nicaragua.
Sounds good. I know you guys gave us a lot of things to do and a lot of things to see just now, but do you think that a lot of these things we can do by ourselves, or would you guys recommend doing guides for a lot of these things?
And if you're limited on time, then having a driver to take you around to these places is going to save you a lot of time. Apart from doing the volcano boarding, I think that's the main thing where you definitely need a guide for. And other than that, you can pretty much do it yourself.
Yeah. So I guess anything involving a volcano, you probably need a guide. But other than that, most things, you can do on your own.
Yeah. If in Granada, if you decided to go to the boat trips,
Las Isletas,
then you'll need a boat and a guide for that. Other than that, you can be pretty self-sufficient. Yeah.
Isletas, is that the place where you guys went with the Monkey Island? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great.
So I'd recommend you do a morning trip, go around the islands, then have lunch on one of the islands. There are a bunch of restaurants you can choose from, which is really good. Have some fish, locally caught fish, and then all done in 2 to 3 hours.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
The next question we're going to talk about is really like safety, crime. Like, I know you guys were there for literally like almost 2 years or so. So did you guys feel safe when you were there, or how did you guys feel?
Yeah, I think overwhelmingly we felt very safe. So I think contrary to what a lot of people outside of Nicaragua believe, Nicaragua is a really, really safe country to travel and live in.
We found people are very friendly. They'll definitely look out for you. There is some petty crime like theft and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'd say don't try and dress down. Don't look too flashy. Try not to have your valuables in full display. In saying that, we were vlogging and taking our camera around and we were fine. But we did have a few people saying be careful, someone could snatch this through the bus window, or this area's a bit dicey, don't have your camera out here. I guess generally just keep your wits about you. You've been traveling around a lot of countries in Central America. It's no worse than any others. It's probably a bit more safer than other countries in the area, I'd say.
Yeah. So in terms of guns or firearms, they're not allowed in the country. So, well, unless you're a police officer. Now, you will hear big noises every now and again. Now, they're just firecrackers going off at all times of the day. That's just what happens in Nicaragua. So it's not gunshots. That's just
fireworks.
They're bombers or fireworks. So that's all you need to be mindful of if you hear loud noises. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess with any Central American country, there's a lot of stray dogs around, so maybe just be wary of that. But yeah, like crime, like we didn't really experience too much crime. Now, our place was broken into. We did have a home invasion when we were in Granada, but they didn't take anything. We yelled and they went away. Overall, very safe country.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. This has been amazing, phenomenal, because we are really stressed, especially because there's not so much information about Nicaragua, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. So we truly appreciate you guys for giving us all this insightful information, for all the vlogs, for the blogs and the website, and definitely this call. So thank you guys.
Very helpful.
No worries at all. Like we love Nicaragua so much, and we're so glad that we could share it with you guys. And you're going to have an amazing time there. So all the best with it. Yeah. And so the Choose to Explore video is going to be out at the same time as this one. So make sure you check out what Darren and Olivia get up to. I'm sure they're going to have a great time.
Yeah, and we'll put a link in this video.
Yeah. So thanks very much as well, guys. It's been lovely talking to you, and have a great trip.
Thank you guys so much. Peace out.
See ya.